Hello and welcome to Saints Live. I'm Steve Forbes.
And I'm Kenzie Benali.
And thank you for joining us here at St Mary's for the final home game of the season. Now tonight it's Liverpool who make their way to a rather wet and windy south coast, still hoping to remain in the title hunt. But will Ralph do Pep Guardiola, it's a mouthful, a favour and hand the Premier League title to Manchester City? Well, here to discuss all the pre-game build-up, we have former Southampton captain Dean Hammond and Daily Mail football reporter, Adrian Kajumba. Dean, how have you been, mate? This is the last time you're going to get to see St Mary's from the comfort of your own home this season.
I know, Steve. I know the season goes so quickly. Yeah, it's great to see you guys again. It's been 10 days. Seems too long. But no, I'm very, very well. Thank you. Enjoying the beautiful sunshine and looking forward to the game tonight.
Well, at least you got a bit of sun up there. And Adrian, it's been a while since we've seen you. I hope you're keeping well.
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me back. I'm looking forward to tonight. Should be a good game. Obviously, lots riding on it for certainly Liverpool, definitely. So, yeah, good evening ahead.
Most definitely. Well, a pleasure to have you both with us as always. But we are going to jump straight into the early team news because the official team news is coming your way in just under 15 minutes time. Now, of course, we do know that Tino Livramento is definitely out. Fraser Forster and Stuart Armstrong are doubtful, although we did see Stuart Armstrong arriving at St Mary's Stadium earlier on. So, Dean, with that in mind, what lineup do you see Ralph opting for this evening, and also what formation do you think he'll go with tonight?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, that, Kenzie, in terms of the formation. I think he'll be thinking of changing the formation to maybe contain Liverpool. We know the importance of the game for both teams, especially Liverpool, but Southampton as well, to finish the season off strongly. Will Ralph go with a 3-4-3? Will he go with a 3-5-2? Or will he stick to his 4-2-2-2 formation that's been so successful for Southampton at home? I'm inclined to thinking it will go three at the back. I think that kind of suits Southampton in these sort of games. They've developed that understanding this season and used it pretty effectively. If you look back at the Arsenal result, the Arsenal victory, Southampton defended so well as a team, collectively all over the field, and that's going to be needed again tonight. So I think there will be a change in personnel and a change in formation as well. Who will come into the team will be very, very interesting to see. I can see Lianco coming back into the defensive lineup. I think that will be a good decision tonight against Liverpool. Because he loves his defending. He's passionate about his defending. He's passionate about trying to keep a clean sheet. And obviously in transition, I think obviously playing against Liverpool, you're going to give up possession. You're going to give up territory. In the transition on the counter-attack, you're going to need some pace in the team. So Nathan Tella coming into the team. Will Shea Adams come back into the team? Or will Brozier play up front? So I think you need to be in mind that we're going to have to be defensively strong tonight, really, really disciplined. Patient, but also aware that Southampton get the ball. Can they keep possession? Can they have some time on the ball? And can they counter-attack Liverpool? Because Liverpool are brilliant going forward. They really, really are. And they attack in numbers and they try to score every opportunity they get. But they do leave openings for you on the counter-attack. So it'll be interesting to see how Ralph approaches this tonight, whether he tries to press, he sits in, counter-attacks, or tries to take Liverpool on. So I'm looking forward to the game.
Well, Liverpool have their own injury concerns, don't they, Adrian? So it's kind of tricky to see how either side will line up tonight.
Yeah, it is definitely. Dean's obviously gone through some of the situations and dilemmas for Ralph there. Liverpool have got their own problems as well. We saw them lose some more players at the weekend in the FA Cup final. Lost Fabinho last week, and then from the FA Cup final, Robertson goes down. Mo Salah came off in the first half. Andy Robertson as well. I think Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, Jurgen Klopp has already said won't play. There's problems there for Liverpool in terms of Saints. They're obviously going to be safe again this season. But this is the last home game of the season. So from Ralph's side and from the Saints side, you want to go out on a high final home game of the season and everything that entails. So it is quite difficult to know maybe how both sides will end up lining up. But personally, I feel it'll probably be the strongest available for both from Saints' perspective, as I said, because the last home game. Want to maybe put on a show, put on the best performance you can in those circumstances. Liverpool, because their obvious needs to win tonight, to try and keep the title race alive going into the last weekend. So I think it'll be strongest available from both managers.
Well, Dean, Jurgen Klopp has been quite vocal about the fact that he is unhappy the game is being played tonight as opposed to Thursday evening, obviously giving them far less time to recover from that gruelling FA Cup final on Saturday. Just how big an impact do you think that will have on the game tonight?
Well, I can understand his views to start with, because I think it will have an impact. If you look at the game in the FA Cup final, physically and emotionally as well, they've gone to extra time, they've gone to penalties again, and then winning it. So emotionally, it's been brilliant for them. But they will be drained. So they've had the recovery on Sunday. Would they have had the chance to celebrate their achievements? Potentially not. Would they have wanted to as players? I would have thought so. And then they're travelling as well, coming down to Southampton. So not much preparation in terms of, like Adrian's mentioned, there's going to probably be a change of players and personnel in the Liverpool team today. So he's not going to have that opportunity to get on the training ground and work with those players that are going to come into the team tonight, because this is a really important game for Liverpool tonight. So, yeah, and obviously the importance. You look at the Liverpool players, the amount of games they've played this season, the competitions they've been fantastic. But those players that are still playing are running on adrenaline, really. They will be tired. So an extra couple of days, playing on a Thursday, which is strange because there's lots of Premier League fixtures on Thursday. Why they've put this game on a Tuesday, I'm not too sure. So I can understand, but I think it can work to the benefit of Southampton. Southampton have had a good break now, have had a good rest. So that gives them a real advantage to look at things that have happened in the Brentford game, to work on this game against Liverpool, to really understand how they're going to approach the game and prepare for it. And Liverpool have not had that opportunity. So this could work against Liverpool tonight and work for Southampton. So it will have an effect just because it's a later stage of the season and the players are going to be fatigued anyway. And like I say, they're running on adrenaline because they're achieving so much and still trying to achieve even more. But yeah, the later stage of this game, this last 20 minutes, if this is a close game, yeah, it could bring a real factor to the result at the end.
As Kenzie mentioned, Stuart Armstrong has travelled to the stadium tonight, although being a pre-match doubt. So we're not sure if he is going to be taking part or not. But if he does miss out, Adrian, how big a miss will he be?
Yeah, it would be a big miss, Stuart Armstrong, especially in a game like this, because the sort of attributes and qualities that he's got could be especially handy in when you're coming up against one of the bigger teams in the league, as Southampton are tonight. You'll see in some of these clips some of the qualities that he brings, the energy in midfield, the tenacity. And one of the things I think that stands out in this little VT is his ability to sort of impact the game from a midfield sort of starting position, but at both ends of the pitch. He's really got the quality to make things happen and get the team up the pitch. He's really comfortable on the ball, can drive with it and take the team with him. It's been a bit of a shame in some ways the season he's had, because it's been a bit stop-start. There was a calf injury that kept him out for a while before Christmas, and he's just maybe not really been able to get that rhythm any season, that consistency of form and sort of appearances. So, obviously we all hope he will be fit and able to play tonight, because, as I said, so many qualities, and especially the sort of ones you might need in a game like this.
Well, as well as Stuart Armstrong, Fraser Forster is also a doubt this evening, as I said at the top of the show. So we could see Alex McCarthy for the first time since December, Dean. A big night potentially for him.
Brilliant opportunity, Kenzie, that probably he wasn't expecting, if I'm honest, because Fraser Forster has been in fine form and really taken his chance. But like a great opportunity. And Alex has been injured since September, I think. Like you say, last game he played against Brighton, where there was the manager questioned him when he was injured, and Brighton equalised. Could he have come off? Could he have made a decision? Could he have made them aware? That's in the past now. But you don't want your season to finish on that. And Alex had been having a pretty inspiring season. I think he kept 5 or 6 clean sheets to that point. We're seeing some clips. He made some fine saves, some really, really good saves, instinctive saves. Technically, as a goalkeeper, he's very, very good. He's a good size. So the club is really, really blessed and really, really fortunate to have 2 such good goalkeepers. So, Alex would have been looking from the sidelines and seeing how well Fraser's been playing, and he would have been eager to get back. And like I say, maybe not thinking he would get that opportunity, but this is how football works. I'm sure he's prepared himself well. I'm sure he's recovered from the injury now with the games he's had, coming back and playing with the 23s. And what better game to come back into? He's going to be needed tonight. He's going to have to be in good form. He's going to have to be ready because Liverpool are going to create opportunities. He is going to have to make saves tonight if he comes back into the team. And I'm sure he's ready and he's eager to stake his claim for the #1 spot because, like I say, the club is really, really blessed with two exceptional goalkeepers.
Well, someone who has been ever present in the side is our captain, James Ward-Prowse, who's been nominated for the Premier League Player of the Season awards, and Ralph has been speaking about him in his press conference.
Very, very big honour for him, I think, to be nominated, and shows you what he has done this season for us as a captain, as a leader on the pitch, and with his sensational goals, also by far the best scorer and assist maker this season for us. And yeah, very impressive season, I must say. It absolutely deserved to be in this very elite circle, if you want.
Well, James Ward-Prowse is one of 8 players to be nominated for Premier League Player of the Season, and he's certainly in good company. He's alongside Son Heung-min, Mohamed Salah, Bukayo Saka, Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, these names are just incredible. João Cancelo, Yared Bowen, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, Adrian, let's get your thoughts on this. As I said, some pretty good company to be keeping there.
It is very good company, and I think something else that maybe underlines how good a season James has had is maybe who's not on that list. For example, you got Rodri, another midfielder. A lot of people have talked up and praised this season. Obviously, plays in a similar position to James Ward-Prowse, and he's not in that list. Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane has hit some heights this season. I know he didn't start that well, but he's not in that list. Sadio Mane's not there. You know, there's so many players who are not there. As long as those who are there, and both actually, as I said, underline how well James has done. It's fully deserved. I think he's one goal away. He's one sort of goal involvement away from equaling his best of last year, which is 15 goals and assists. And I think everyone knows about James Ward-Prowse's ability from set pieces. His fitness record is unbelievable, and he's shown that again this year. But I think one of the big things that has maybe sort of caught the attention and is maybe why he's there is people would have noted the development of him as a midfielder. It's not just his free kicks and his corners that people are talking about anymore. You're seeing him as an all-round midfielder. You're seeing the other elements of his game, and it feels like he's gone to another level this year, and he's sort of developed and taken his game on again. And it just seems like that's been noticed, and I guess that's sort of testament to him and why he's been included in the shortlist of 8.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, Prowse is the only player to have been nominated from a club outside of the top 7, and you'd have to go back to 1997, where a player outside of the top 7 won it. So, Dean, that would just be a huge recognition of his performances if he was to pick up that award.
It would, Steve, and what more can we say about Prowse? He's a fantastic player, all-round midfield player. We'll see from the clips he can do everything as a midfield player. He gets assists, he scores goals, he takes responsibility as captain within the team. The team relies on him. If he plays well, Southampton plays well. He's really, really aggressive now, which he's had to work on in his game. Now, I don't think that comes naturally to him. He scores spectacular goals, like Adrian has mentioned, eye-catching goals. And he's a brilliant player. And I still think he can improve. I think he's 27 years old, so he's just coming into the prime of his career, really. He's in the England squad, and this is huge recognition for what he's achieved. And there's not many players that would have had a bigger influence on their team, than he's had at Southampton. I think it's 9 goals, 5, 6, maybe 8 assists, I think, this season. But it's the other things he does off the ball as well. And him being an inspirational captain on and off the pitch is huge for Southampton. So all credit needs to go to him. He's had another fantastic season, and even more credit because he started the season reasonably slow as well, and he's improved and he's got better and better. And I'd be very, very surprised if he's not within that England squad, because he's just different as well. And his set pieces, I mean, it's frightening, really. His delivery for others, but the strikes and goals and the goals he scores, he's getting better and better. So congratulations to him, and it just shows the work he's put in, because I know him as a person, as a professional. He works very, very hard. So this is no fluke. This is all work, and all the credit needs to to go to him. He's a fantastic footballer.
Yeah, we're delighted for James, and of course he will always be our player of the season. But I'm going to jump straight to team news now because we have that in front of us. So let's just run straight through that. Not quite sure the formation that Ralph is opting for this evening, but we'll get Adrian and Dean's thoughts in just a moment. But the starting lineup is as follows. Alex McCarthy does indeed start for the first time since December. Then it's Carl Walker-Peters, Jack Stevens, Lianco, Mohamed Salisu, Ibrahima Diallo, our captain, James Ward-Prowse, the man we've just been raving about, Nathan Redmond, Moy Elianusi, Nathan Teller and Armando Broja. The Southampton bench then is as follows: Willie Caballero, Jan Valery, Jan Bednarek, Oriol Romeu, Stuart Armstrong, Musa Gineppo, Adam Armstrong, Shane Long and Shay Adams. Adrian, I'm going to come to you first on this one. We were speaking prior to team news about the fact that we weren't quite sure what formation Ralph was going to go for tonight. Are we any clearer on that now you've seen the starting 11?
Yeah, so I was just scribbling that down as you were reading it out, and with taking into account what Dean was saying at the start, I think that might be a back three there, as Dean predicted, with Lianco, Stevens and Salisu. Having a little guess, Walker-Peters, Diallo, Ward-Prowse, Teller across the midfield three, and then three up top, maybe Elianusi, Redmond and Broja. Possibly, I'm not sure how that might set up. So yeah, Dean's a mind reader. Tactician as well, because he gets the back three based on how I see it. Gives them, having that extra defender in there gives them that sort of extra body, and it's maybe an indication of how Ralph feels the game might go and what he might need. We know back threes often become back fives more often than not, so they're ready if that is how it indeed turns out for a lot of defending. But they got the bodies there to do it if need be.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Dean, you said you were predicting a change in personnel. We're certainly seeing that tonight. As we said, not sure on the formation, but potentially a back three there. What do you make of that starting 11 tonight?
I agree with Adrian. I think it will be a back three, a 3-4-3 formation. I think Nathan Teller will play as a wing back or a right midfielder. He's done that before, and he's okay at that. Walker-Peters will go to the left-hand side. Maybe Ralph would put a surprise in and Salisu will play at left back and Walker-Peters will play at right back, and maybe he'll stick to the 4-2-2-2 formation. It will for us to see, but I like it. There's legs in the team. Like we say, there's defensive-minded players in the team, which is important tonight. Diallo in the midfield can cover a lot of ground and break play up and kind of stop Liverpool playing in that midfield area, because they're very, very strong in that area. And then Nathan Redmond, who can run with the ball and get Southampton up the pitch, the pace in Teller. And then Broja, who can get those runs in behind. And also, one thing Broja's fantastic at, which will be needed tonight, when the ball goes into him so it can stick and it can give Southampton a bit of breathing space. He can hold the ball up, bring the midfield players into it. He can run in behind and stretch that Liverpool defence and just give Southampton some time when they're going to have periods of defending, because realistically, that's going to happen tonight. Southampton are going to be under a bit more pressure than usual because they're playing against a world-class team in World Cup players, even though Liverpool have made changes as well. So I expect the three at the back, but you never know with Ralph. He's full of surprises. Will he go to a 4? But I think with the players you've got there, there's an opportunity here to cause Liverpool some problems defensively and from an attacking point of view.
Oh yeah, just another hour left of head scratching until we find out which formation Ralph will choose. Well, let's think back to last season, to good times when it was an enthralling match here at St Mary's with a win over our opponents tonight, Liverpool. Adrian, do you want to talk us through this one?
Yeah, I think there'll be two things that maybe stick in a lot of people's memory from this game. Obviously, the goal which we're seeing here. Great finish from Danny Ings, ball over the top from the set piece. We're talking about James Ward-Prowse's set pieces, and here's a good example of one of them. Obviously got a bit of fortune with Trent Alexander-Arnold missing the ball and failing to cut out the free kick, but great finish to loop that ball over Alisson from Danny Ings. We've spoken about how in games like this and against Liverpool, the sort of threat they pose, the fact the team's going to need to defend, you're going to need your goalkeeper to stand up and be counted at times, and that happened against Liverpool last year. But the goal from Danny Ings and that defending, you're seeing an example here. Great block there from Jack Stevens and a couple of saves from Fraser Forster. And Southampton had a couple of chances as well to extend their lead as well and make the margin of victory, maybe 2 goals, maybe even 3. But as well as the goal, this game we remembered for also Ralph's celebration, his emotional, which you're just seeing now, his emotional sort of reaction to the final whistle. I think he said, he's found it difficult and not had too many results against Jurgen Klopp in their time coming up against each other as managers. You could see how much it meant to him, and it was a great night for him and a great night for Southampton.
Well, Dean, let's just remind ourselves of Southampton's subs bench from last season's win over Liverpool. Harry Lewis, Jan Valery, Jake Vokins, Kane Ramsey, Will Smallbone, Nathan Teller, Kegs Chauke, Shane Long and Dan and Lundaloo. I mean, so much youth on the bench there, several first-teamers out injured, and Liverpool were pretty much at full strength, weren't they? I mean, Saints had no right to win that game.
No, they didn't, Kenzie. They really, really didn't. I think, if I'm right, the result took Southampton into the top 4, and at that time of the season, again, was a brilliant result. But as we can see from the substitutes, the squad had been stretched in that moment and was being tested. But like Adrian's just touched on, it was a brilliant performance from Southampton. Real togetherness, had to defend at times, throw their bodies on the line, scored a really, really, really good goal. And that may be needed tonight because Liverpool defensively are fantastic as well. We talk about their attacker and threat, but, defensively they're very, very good. And that's why they're winning competitions that are, they're second in the league and still competing for the Premier League. And it was some magic from James Ward-Prowse and Danny Ings in that moment. But yeah, it was a fantastic performance and really pushed Liverpool. And Southampton, they can do this against the bigger teams. They can compete. They can be really competitive against the top teams. The players seem to raise their game. They seem to bring the best out of them. And I think we can see that again tonight from Southampton. So it was a brilliant result. And it's great to see the amount of youngsters on the bench. It really, really is. You want that at a football club. You want there to be a pathway for the academy players. And that's how you get opportunities, when players are out injured, when there's suspensions, that a youngster come in and you can make a name for yourself. So I think Southampton is a club that tries to do that and develop the younger players. And this is an example of the manager as well being brave enough to involve them when it was needed.
Well, yes, indeed. And kick-off, of course, edging ever closer here at St Mary's Stadium as the rain persists to thrash down above us. It's certainly very noisy, so hopefully you can hear us over the rain and the wind. But I'm going to get to some comments now. Lots of you getting in touch, which is always fantastic. Charlie Turner is watching along. Hello to you. They're going for a 1-0 win today. Armando Masterclass, come on the Saints from Windsor. James Downton says, let's show Liverpool our real strength. A comment here from Liam Grout. He says JWP will score a pen or free kick. Well, he certainly loves a set piece, doesn't he? David has said he's going for a big 3-2 Saints win this evening. Andrew Sharp, hello to you. Come on, Adam Armstrong, if you're playing, show us why we bought you. Unlucky last time. Of course, he's not in that starting 11 this evening. Alan also getting in touch saying he's watching from Gosport. And a comment here from Brian Larkham, who is watching all the way from the USA-Canada border. Thanks for your company.
Well, you said it's raining here. Well, will Saints rain on Liverpool's parade, Adrian? I'm sure you've had a chance to look at their lineup for tonight. How do you assess them?
Well, it's very interesting from Jurgen Klopp, given, as we've touched on, the sort of circumstances for Liverpool, their need for a victory to take the title race down to the last weekend. Looks like 9 changes. I think that's 9 changes he's made from the team that played in the FA Cup final. Understandable, you might say, after 120 minutes and penalties, but at the same time, maybe a little bit risky. There's a few players here who've not played for a little while. Only Alisson and Konate sort of survived from the team they played at Wembley. I was on Jurgen Klopp's press conference, Ralph Hasenhutl's press conference yesterday, and he was talking about, in some positions, Liverpool's sort of backup players are, you don't really have much sympathy. Effectively, it's not like they're naming really, they're not weakening their side in certain positions. And he name-checked Jota coming in for Salah. Understandable what he was saying there. Obviously, Tsimikas won the FA Cup for them at the weekend, and he's done very well this season, sort of filling in for Andy Robertson. So in certain places, they're not that much weaker. But I think maybe when you make that number of changes altogether, it looks like a a very, very different Liverpool side, and it's probably one that will give Southampton a little bit of encouragement, I would say, just because again, when you make that number of changes, it's the chemistry within the team. It's players who don't have any rhythm, they don't have any sort of recent form to sort of fall back on. Obviously, very talented players in there. They're at Liverpool. They're there for a reason. But yeah, I do think that team, that number of changes as well, might just give Southampton some encouragement tonight.
Well, Dean, just changing angles slightly, we just wanted to have a quick word about Southampton's under-18s, because they won the Premier League South and they play Manchester City here in the Premier League National Final on Thursday. That's going to be a great occasion. I mean, what an opportunity for them to be crowned the best under-18 team in the country.
Brilliant opportunity, Kenzie, and a brilliant opportunity to play at St Mary's as well. It's great for the development, to learn what it feels like to win competitions as well. We're seeing from the highlights, some of the players here look very, very special talents, technically look great. Southampton have always produced technically brilliant players, and it looks like they're continuing that theme. And like I just mentioned a minute ago, there's a pathway to the first team, which is all you want as a younger player coming through, to have that opportunity to get into the first team, if you're good enough, is everything you strive for it in your early days of your career. So, there looks like there's some brilliant players here. We're seeing some fantastic goals. I mentioned before the show, I was down at the training ground a couple of weeks ago. The facilities there for the players is magnificent. They're going to have every opportunity, but that experience to feel the atmosphere at St Mary's, the build up, a little bit of expectation, a little to try and beat Man City is good for them and good for their development. So yeah, it's a brilliant experience and a brilliant moment for them. And credit to the football club, because they're producing more and more players collectively and individually, as we saw from the highlights. So yeah, good luck to them. I hope they will beat Man City.
Well, we also have to mention our Southampton women's team, who play Wolves on Saturday in Stockport, with a chance to get in to the FA Women's Championship. Adrian, how good would it be to see our women's team get to that level and start mixing it with some of the biggest teams in the country?
Yeah, it would be great. It would be great for the women's side. We've sort of seen in the last couple of weeks the upper reaches of what's going on in the women's game in terms of the FA Cup final of the weekend. Record crowd, 50,000, almost 50,000 there at Wembley. And the week before, you've seen the sort of the final day and all the drama in the WSL. And obviously, that's the level that any ambitious team, club want to get to. And for Southampton, this game this weekend is the sort of next step on that. Obviously, they can get past Wolves and they're into the second tier, and it's just one more promotion away from the WSL at that top level. It's going to be a very interesting game, actually. I mean, if you look at how the two sides' seasons have gone, they both won their leagues quite comfortably, only lost one game. And I think one thing in Southampton's sort of favour is the amount of goals they scored. I think it's two less games they played than Wolves, and they scored over 30 goals more. So they got a real sort of goal threat, and they got a real chance. And I'm sure they'll be very confident going into that game against Wolves this weekend. So best of luck to Marianne and her team.
Absolutely. Well, tickets are available still for both the under-18s and women's matches. So just a reminder of the details for both fixtures. The under-18s are taking on Manchester City here at St Mary's Stadium. That's a 7 p.m. kick-off on Thursday, so make sure you come along. Tickets are free for that one. And our Southampton FC women are taking on Wolves, as we've mentioned. A 3 p.m. kick-off Saturday in Stockport. Tickets are £10 for adults and £5 for concessions. We also have some team news, some additional team news to bring you now. We can confirm that Roman Perraud has a leg fracture and is going to be out for around 5 to 6 weeks. So of course we are wishing him all the very best. And as we do that, a few more comments coming in from the fans before we come to our guests for their score predictions today. Daniel Sennett is watching along all the way from Jamaica. Thanks for your company. Lynn Dennis also getting in touch. She says, come on you Saints, we always play our best when we are the underdogs. Absolutely right, Lynn. Paul Mins, come on you Saints. Chris has said, watching from sunny Spain. Oh, just rub it in. It's miserable here, Chris. He says, great show, come on you Reds, Saints forever. And Peter on YouTube says, let's do it today. And he's going for a 2-1 Saints win.
Great stuff. Positive from the fans there, but a shame about Romain Perraud, and we do hope he has a speedy recovery from that fracture. But it's time to get your final thoughts, guys, and your score predictions. Dean, will come to you first. Can you see Southampton putting a stop to Liverpool's title charge?
I can, Steve, if I'm honest. I covered the game for Leicester the last time Liverpool lost in the Premier League, and very similar to this game. It was a 1-0 victory, I think, for Leicester. Liverpool missed a penalty, had lots of possession. It may be similar to that tonight. But I just think, you know, with, like Adrian's touched on, with the changes Liverpool have made, it may just encourage Southampton. And I'm going to go for a repeat 1-0 victory for Southampton tonight. Very disciplined approach, lots of blocks, lots of drama. Alex McCarthy coming back in and making some memorable saves. But a 1-0 Southampton win I'm going for tonight.
1-0. Well, Adrian, I'm sure no football fan outside of Liverpool wants to see them do a quadruple this season. So I take it most of the people up and down the country are wanting a Saints win tonight.
I would agree with what you just said there, if I'm allowed to. I was already feeling, partly after listening to Ralph yesterday, actually, I was already feeling a little bit confident about this game, just because of the way he was talking about it. You know, he highlighted that Saints need to show a different face after their recent form. And, you know, he was talking about the need to kind of sign off with a kind of decent result and performance. So I was already thinking, you know, they're going to sort of produce one of those big game performances that they have done against the bigger teams at St Mary's. Now I've seen that Liverpool team as well. I'm even more confident. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win Southampton today, I feel. So yeah, you know, but before I'd seen those teams drop, might have been a draw. But after I've seen them now, Saints win 2-1.
All right, well, certainly like the sound of those predictions. Dean, Adrian, always a pleasure to have you with us, and we look forward to speaking with you after the game. Thanks for your company and analysis. Well, as we've mentioned, the Reds looking to keep their Premier League title hopes alive, but Southampton looking to finish the season in good fashion. Whatever the outcome from this one, we will be with you for the final whistle after the match, so make sure you join us then.